Goody, you know?
Miss Perfect was powder in her nose in the bathroom stall with a pile of chemicals getting suited. I was daydreaming about my music, cleaning forbidden fruit out my teeth with a toothpick. The masqueraders are passing out party favors and playing games that appeal to our darker nature, like William Tell with a loaded Glock. If you're not a short shot, you'll decorate the flesh with red polka dots. Holly stepped out the restroom with toilet paper stuck to her stilettos, holding a golden globe. If all the king's men were riddled with bullet holes, she'd be the bulimic Bella the ball that stole the show. But tragedy's a photo op, so strike a pose with the seven-headed beast. She's a sight to behold, my Babylonian beauty, bougie, domineering, designer wearing diamond earrings. Find your bearings. I just wanna say, it's gonna be great if you proceed to it. The sky darkened, but no one seemed to notice. Fighter planes blocking out the sun like locusts. It's all showbiz, glamour and glitz. Divine play off of Broadway and camera tricks. Little Miss bites her lower lip. Wine trickles down her chin. I'm sitting in the corner taking notes with the fountain pen. Inside looking out, outside looking in. Sing a phrase from a wrinkled page in the book of hymns. And when the moon turns blood red, and love is something terrible and beautiful that's hanging by a thread. You don't know if it's the end or a new beginning, but know for sure there's something fundamentally flawed with the life that you've been living. I wasn't there for the crucifixion. We tightrope walk the thin line between truth and superstition. If you don't know, you'll know real soon. The sacred and profane atoned in the hotel room. Now listen, I just wanna say, it's gonna be great if you proceed to it. I've been so lost, kicked while I was down. Barely had the strength to hold my sickly frame off the ground. I've been found out, I'm fried, a phony, exposed. Felt the world breathe, I'm taken beyond my threshold. Pain, maintain, sang in the rain. I'm the only one to blame for not staking my claim. I have fallen so far from grace, built, destroyed, and search for new worlds that would help me to fill the void. I am 1-0, I kill the noise. And red rum, the rhythm section, with no exception, the real McCoy. Searching for the source, the dream merchant in the sky. The most high to penalize the certain sin of pride. The serpents in disguise lurk around the city streets. I pull the curtains back inside Jehovah, speaking with the beast. Weigh my soul, weigh my organic metronome. Place it on a scale, help me see beyond the veil.
The dead increase their invisible honey.
Woke up with the conviction I could change things. Every dream's a variation on the same theme. In the machine where blood money remains king. The gluttonous old court and lick their blade clean. A songbird in the cage sings to usher in the new dawn and the promise that the day brings. First things first, fire up the ship. Equipped with the intravenous dark roll strip. My skull's thick, I learned to turn lead to gold bricks. With skills to pay the phone bill and keep the stove lit. And roll with the brick roads, twist quick to snatch Caiaphas off his pulpit where thy souls drift. Something tapped the glass in my fishbowl, and for a moment I could see it clear as crystal. We're inching toward the edge, check your head. Smell the coffee grinds, put the savior complex to bed. Woke up with the conviction I could change things. Every dream's a variation on the same theme. In the machine where blood money remains king. The gluttonous whole court and lick their plate clean.
I finally made the process. They made me adjustment to modern times. I'm sure the fantasy obsession, paranoid position, dying master of work.
Blind man, lost man, dying on the cross man, revolutionary man, self-righteous man, pointing fingers at the next man, madman, running from from an agent with a gun and badge somewhere in the Badlands. A sacred hand shaped the world laid to waste. Tomorrow sacrifice for today's paper chase. There's flies on the drywall, closed circuit all seeing eyeballs. Keep it close, watch while the sky falls. The same snake that said turn stones to bread is working around the clock to mine the data in your head. Something's gotta give, bend, break your shift, take your pick. Watch them sit and pull the wings off a seraphim for kicks. And build Babel towers to pass the hours with high-tech tools at their fingertips like magic powers. Young grass hop, cast your mask off. Rock to sleep by the men that fleece the sheepfold that have nots. Woke up with the conviction we could change things. Every dream's a variation on the same theme. In a machine where blood money remains king. The gluttonous hold court and lick the plate clean.
Cannibals. Leave America.
Don't forget the taste of human flesh.
Are you quite sure that the tribe you're talking about are cannibals? We're receiving signals loud and clear.
The shadow was growing. They cut right to the ground, the shadow stayed home. They laid boards on it, the shadow came out on top. They shone lights on it, the shadow got blacker and clearer. They looked the other way, it went on growing. It got into eyes, the eyes went blind. The ones that fell down and grew over and they vanished. The shadow was not filled, it went on growing.
There's a world now where people are in a contest trying to see who can get enough power to destroy the world first. It ain't even fit for a fable, but it's a real story.
After a glimpse at the timeless universe comes the stark reality of today.
Particularly in nasty wars on the other side of the world.
We're going to apply the shock, and you'll see the shock indicator on this flash of light on the bottom.
People are very cynical. They believe everything that newspapers tell them.
What are the implications for a society that uses punishment and deprivation to control behavior?
Nothing new, same old hustle and subterfuge. Suffering through shockwaves we grown accustomed to. Up the views, more skew coverage and buzzer food. Trouble brews and punish fish in the blood that pools. Nationwide they're harmonizing like the Four Tops. Warhawks and Park Place and Boardwalk, crying out for scorched earth. It's like we've been here before. Chart knee seismic shift with the pen near the floor. Our free and fair press, every step beating bare chest. Which three-letter agencies taking their checks? Safe and sound somewhere lost in the crowd, but raise the light don't shine through white phosphorus clouds. Fanned by the flames, ready the troops, fuel the furnace with half-truths and outright lies akin to urban myths. If it bleeds, it leads, remove the tourniquet. Fever pitch, perfect fit for berserkers. It's the age-old hustle, the nature of the beast. To say let's split the cake, then take another piece, and another, and another, and another. No solace in the eye for eyeball they're calling for. You know the mantra, well colonized, call it yours.
No inclination to stop fighting right now. I would only just prevent.
Peak distortion, reach to each his portion of devil's pie. Explore the depths and depressurize. It's all there in plain sight, clear as daylight. Birds of prey on the world stage, playing brave nights. Inadequate words for live, loss, and anguish, but they're cut from the same cloth they wash your brain with. Strange as lopsided nature never caught your eye. Crying out but not for lives lost across divides. Tax dollars not for butter but guns. It's not a tooth for a tooth, it's 5 dozen for one. It's brute force slipping under the thumb. Stripped of pretense, reduce the city blocks to ash and self-defense. Learn to love the bomb, act like nothing's wrong. Dust till dawn, snatching crumbs from your brother's palms. If it detonates when all faith and trust is gone, you won't have to turn the oven on to make up l'orange. The age-old hustle, the nature of the beast. Just say let's split the cake, then take another piece, and another, and another, and another. No solace in the eye for eyeball they're calling for. You know the mantra, well colonized, call it yours.
Peace, 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 peace.
A hummingbird is no length to fly. We've all been
patterns that emerge when the self-righteous herb strikes a maladapted nerve. Had the urge to snap and leave him fractured on the curb. I recalled the confrontation, but the aftermath's a blur. Deterred by a Venus wrapped in furs that saw the ring and aimed to sabotage my happy ever afterwards. In dark moods, she'll remove your heart, use her shark tools. Feed you to the sharks, leave you bleeding on the bar stool. Leave the fruit alone. Go pet the dog with 3 heads on a leash in front that's chewing on a human bone. And dream about Elysian fields where you used to roam. A new day dawning and the promise of your future home. And scorched earth outside, more than I can stomach. Lit a stick with fire stolen from the highest summit. Somewhere in the furnace sweating out the toxins. Where snake oil merchants peddle rebel angel doctrines. There's no place like home base. Maneuver through a soulscape, stone-faced, moving at my own pace. Dodging pitfalls and titans while they clash. Plucking wings off of hummingbirds and fighting over scraps.
Many questions are still unanswered. How do they find their way? Do they navigate by the sun and stars?
As we walk in, welcome to my habitat. You're free to watch the spin doctor spin.
How do we find our way? How do we find our way? It's the ways that we allow ourselves to find enjoyment in everything. You know, in all the small things. But it's, you know, how could we ever possibly hold the space to hold all the joy and excitement and fulfillment for the big things if we can't even have that for the smaller things? You know, bottled up and encaged. But it's like, but it's also as within, so without. You know, as within the bottle, but expansion. Growth. You know, but bottled up, corked, restricted. Restrictions. Self-limiting beliefs that we need to challenge. Limitations that only exist in our mind. Only exists in our mind, but you know, but it's understanding our mind. It's understanding our mind. It's understanding, you know, your conscious as well as your subconscious. It's taking the time to analyze. It's taking the time to evaluate. It's taking the time to question why we do things the way we do them. If we're doing it in the proper way. If we need to make adjustments. Making adjustments. You know, nurturing ourselves. Self-love. Speaking life into ourselves. You know, but she's playing the flute. Flute, playing right now too. But it's like... it's tuning into the frequency of the universe. To being able to go to that quiet place inside. You know, nurturing yourself from the inside out. Nurturing yourself from the inside out. You know, we fill our cup. We fill our cup that our cup overflows. It overflows into those around us, into those that we interact with. And to those that we exchange our energy with, because everything is an energy exchange. Everything is, regardless if you recognize that or not. Recognizing it, you know, the moon. It's what the energetic contracts we sign unaware of. That are pulling from our cup. You know, that never allow our cup to fully fill. Sometimes it's by our choice. Sometimes it's not. But interesting, the exchange of energy. Everything is an energy exchange. The traders, right? You know, the bartering system. It's, you know, but it's like, if anyone that knows how to do, you know, shop properly, knows negotiations. You know, it's not in the big chains. You know, you're not gonna find. I don't want the shit that's in the big chains, anyways. That's all, you know, copy, cookie cutter, paste, and everyone's all the same. They're all decorating with the same shit. I don't want that shit. You can stay with that. You can keep that shit. I find value other places, but that's to me. And you know, but it's, you know, what's the value? The value is what I put to it. The value is what you put to it. The value is agreed upon thing. You know, but exchanges of energy. It's the consciousness of the exchanges that we're making, and if they serve us, it's when we're getting the shit end of the fucking stick. It's like, okay, no, that was, I saw that trade last time. That didn't work out well for me. It didn't work out well for me. I'm gonna have to increase the value of my product to make it an equal trade, an equal exchange. Equal exchanges, energy exchanges, the star ancestor. The exchange. You know what I'm getting is generational curses. It's passed down. The burdens are passed down upon you because they weren't able to do it, so it gets passed down to you. You know, but the exchange, it's also the work that they put in too. Is what you can, is what you have the ability to tap into. It's the knowledge that they gained. It's some of the experiences that the knowledge that they have that they can help you, if you allow them to, if you ask them to, by connecting with them, by honoring them. You know, but it's honoring them. It's honoring yourself. It's honoring the Most High in everything you say and everything you do. You know, we're an embodiment of our ancestors in the flesh, and they're an embodiment of us in the spirit. You know what's funny about that is, you know what I mean? It's a dick swing contest. Everyone, I got the biggest dick in this avatar, and it's like, how's your dick in the spirit though? Oh, you got a micro dick. Oh, okay, that's all right. That's okay. You got to compensate somewhere, right? That's what it is though. Deception through our worldly eyes, with no realization of who we are in the spirit. None, not a clue. And thinking only about our ancestral, you know, family from this realm. What about the other ones that carry on, you know, after this incarnation, that don't just last for this incarnation? You know, but it's the work that we do, you know, for this bloodline and this incarnation, and then, but it's so much. It's so much. It's more than just you. It's bigger than I can even fathom or even wrap my brain around. Trusting our talents at the right time. You know, our spirit team. There's always someone in our spirit team. You know, when you're going through things and you need help for something, right? You set your intentions of whoever is most qualified to help me with this. Come through. Give me some guidance. Help me out. Help a brother out. I need it. I want it. You got to connect with the ancestors. You got to talk to them. You know, you got to trust. You know, but then the thoughts, some of the thoughts you get, they're not just your thoughts. You know, these are things that they achieved, that they did in their lifetimes, and they're passing it down to you. They're trying to help you out, if you allow them to, if you trust. You know, but what's it going to do? It's going to take courage. You know, it's going to push you out of your comfort zone. Growth doesn't happen in your comfort zone. Growth doesn't happen in your comfort zone. You know, and if you keep staying in your comfort zone, you're always going to be selling yourself short, limiting yourself. That's not what you came here to do. You didn't come here to limit yourself. You didn't come here to restrict yourself, because those are the true restrictions, are the ones that you impose upon yourself, knowingly or unknowingly. But the first step is recognizing that you're unknowingly doing it, and then you start becoming conscious about it. You start becoming aware. You start questioning, thinking, observing. All very crucial parts. All very crucial. You know, but full circle, as within, so without. You know, but it's the translucency that we should be too. You know, open book. You know, a lot of times when we look at ourselves in the mirrors too, we don't see a clear bottle. It's, you know, it's colored. It's, you know what I mean? It's We can't see through it. You know, but with practice, you know, it's removing the layers, removing the coatings, removing the masks, until we look in the mirror. You know what's funny about that is, I was outside, I walked in, and I passed the mirror, and I just caught a glance at myself, and I had to do a double take, like, who's that sexy motherfucker? Give myself some self-love real quick. What's up, sexy? How you doing? How'd you get so sexy? How'd you get so incredibly good looking? Doing a great job. No one's told you today. You're doing an excellent fucking job. I'm proud of you. The Most High's proud of you. You know, it's those little moments that we stop and bring it into reality. Stop, enjoy the moment. Give ourselves the acknowledgement of how well we're doing. How far we've come. Very crucial, very important. Give thanks. It's constantly staying in a state of thanks. How many times have we walked by the mirror and we weren't happy with the person we saw? How many times have we walked by in the mirror and weren't happy with the reflections of everything else we saw around us? For that alone, you should give thanks. Just the removal of those things from the picture.
Got the blues, got a lot to lose, got the news so-and-so pass. Check the database for slideshows and photographs. You grow detached from your chosen path, lose control and crash on the overpass. Motionless, focused inward, with loved ones howling like 1,000 Ginsbergs with pinched nerves. Robert Johnson gave me his guitar pick. I can play super strings and rap about my hardships. You collide through your teeth and spoon feed them arsenic. Who could stoop the lowest? Who could fall the farthest? It began when we took an apple off a tree limb. Sweet sin, sustenance to sink teeth in. Took a risk and got 86 for high treason. The pivotal moment, simple components to 5 reason. Everything's sunny, everything's lovely. Put me on the pedestal, hold no one above me. Everything's pleasant and good, eating breadcrumbs like the little peasant that could.
Starvation, humiliation, despair, frustration, every goddamn thing.
For all your ills, I give you laughter.
How you guys doing? What's today? Thursday? Thursday?
Why don't you look at your own garden? Flowers all over, trees to sit under. Maybe you look for paradise. Remember, it's not at the neighbors. Cultivate. It is yours.
Driftwood down the river Styx. One side scorched earth, the other side's 666. Which way to go from here? To flip a switch or strip away the old veneer? Emerging from a cave like chrysalis.
I am excellent.
We sit and watch snakes slither
I'm always
off the
excellent.
drifter's lips. One day it's Hercules.
And even when I'm not, I'm excellently not okay.
Earth angel sending signs.
But I'm always
Never
excellent.
seal with the kiss and parents, let it all to work out. The sky's limitless, you get the gist. Dismiss this riff-raff and rabble, while rousers in the midst practice witchcraft and babble. Galactic motherships, magic tricks, astral.
No, that's what's interesting about that is, you know, practicing witchcraft is people engage in it every single motherfucking day, not even realizing it. Gossip, sitting at work, gossip about people at work, gossip about family members, gossip, black magic, witchcraft. It's what it is. It's what it is. You know, people spend way too much time doing that shit. And they're unaware, completely unfucking aware of what they're doing. That's the biggest threat, is the things we do unknowingly. And engage in it all the fucking time, too much. I've never found enjoyment in that. You know, I get the fuck away from it. I remove myself. You can't control other people. You can't control what they choose to do. You can warn them, I don't engage in this. You know what I mean? And then do it again, alright. You can see your way out of it. It's as simple as that. Protecting your energy. Guarding your energy. You can't control anyone. You shouldn't try to force it upon anyone either. You know, we all have free will. That's that thing, right? We all have free will. Just like you can remove yourself. You have no control necessarily over the situation, but you can remove yourself from it. Remove that variable. You can do that. Not always simply right away, but you can make steps towards it. You can start putting your intentions to doing that and setting your intentions of getting out of there. Setting your intentions. The gentle release. You know, but it's slowly, energetically, we slowly pull away. We slowly, more by more, pull away. And until it's just a graceful release. But to others, it's going to seem like we slammed the fucking door shut. We left in a typhoon. You know what I mean? But it's energetically, it felt like a typhoon staying here. And so slowly, piece by piece, as we remove ourselves, the more and more peace we come. And so, yeah, floating away gracefully. Floating away gracefully, you know, learning to find a balance. Learning what serves us, what doesn't serve us. Now, I can't ignore that heart in there, though. That rock heart. You know, but the heart's towards the top. It's putting ourselves first. You know, it's a fine balance of selflessness and selfishness. But sometimes you have to be a selfish-ass motherfucker. You have to put yourself first. You have to work on yourself. Work on connecting with yourself, your spirit team. You can't do that with too much chaos going on. You can't do that with the wrong people in your ears, in your head. Feeding you poison. That's what the words are with the wrong people around you. It's poison. You know, the desert of isolation. It's the times we take away to go inward. To connect with the ones that matter. Not to say that people we connect with here doesn't matter. But it's the people that matter kind of the most that we never connect with. Our higher self, the Most High, our ancestors. When do we take the time to do that? Truly. Yeah, people say they do all the time because you went to church. Yeah, good for you. You don't need a church to connect with the Most High. Your church is your temple. Are you treating your vessel like a temple? Most of us aren't. I didn't used to. But it's a motherfucking game changer when you start doing that. I can tell you that. How many times do people read the Bible verses? See, I don't know all the Bible verses and with the correlations. I don't know that. But I understand the messages more than they do. Unfortunately. It's deception, taught wrong, understandings. You know, I wasn't taught any of this shit. I learned it, trial and error, life. That was my fucking, well, those are our teachers. The flames of passion. You know, I knew just by learning to trust myself, my own energy, believing in myself, trusting the Most High, blindly, until I could see properly. You know, I didn't even get into any of the esoteric shit till I already did what I did. Without any little boys or girls groups or, you know, any books on esoteric. I didn't read any of that shit, studying it. It was nothing I ever took the time to. I never looked into it. Spirituality, tarot readings, oracles. I never looked into any of that shit. You know, I was indoctrinated evangelical. And I had that understanding right off, this ain't fucking it. There's so much falsehood here. But there's a lot of truths. There's a lot of falsehoods. Veils of deceit. Bonds, chains. Unnecessary. Self-imposed. But indoctrinations. You know, I found the truth through isolation. I found the truth inward. You know, it's funny too, then, you know, people that were coming into my existence trying to tell me that, you know what I mean? I didn't know, they knew what I did more before I even knew what I did. But they didn't even think I did it. They thought I was still on the way there. And they're trying to tell me how I had to do things. It's, because that's what your books taught you? That's what these people taught you? I didn't even know anything about any of this shit. I just did it. And then I'm catching up on it after. And you're trying to tell me I had to do things a certain way. Fuck right off. I know what I don't even really know what I did, but I do. We hold all the answers if we take the time to listen to ourselves. If we take the time to go inward. If we take the time to go inward, listen to our soul's whisper. You know, but you have to silence You have to silence all the noise around you. As I turn that ad down. The distractions. The added noise that you don't need. The added noise that you don't need. But it's the way that we can tune it out. Like, I've lived by plenty of train tracks and cities, and it's never bothered me. I'd be on the phone, and then all of a sudden, like, train's going by. And it ain't nothing, it's just a train, right? But I was like, what is that, a train in the background? It's like, oh, it's loud. But I'm not thinking about it. My subconsciously, it's soothing to me. It doesn't bother me. I'm used to it. I'm accustomed to it. I block it out, But that's the point we have to be, which is the nonsense. I don't even notice it. It's not affecting me, but it affects others. But it's interesting how we notice it still affects others around us, even though it doesn't affect us. They're even on the phone. Someone way the fuck over there. But the power of our energy, though, that's interesting too. The power of our energy stretches so far. And farther than beyond just this realm. Farther beyond just this realm. And when you learn to connect into them, it's a whole new world. You know what I mean? It literally, like... But it's inward. And then it reflects outward. It's... the reflections. But how are we looking at ourselves? All rusty? And beat up? Or are we reliable and durable and we're still fucking going? Right? But then we start to see ourselves differently. Through trusting our internal compass. We start seeing ourselves differently. We start seeing ourselves with a brand new paint job. Just a little TLC, a little love. Self-love. Then the Most High, the divine love, the divine liquid gold that fills every crack that you didn't even know was there. And then the liquid gold hardens. And it becomes strong and durable. And increases the value. But people, they give up on the road because they don't see the results right here, right now, quick. Newsflash, it's not going to happen, Buttercup. It doesn't happen like that. Time. It's a silly thing, time. Divine timing. Our timing is never the same as the Most High's timing. Our thoughts and ideas of the plan somewhat aligned with the Most High, but never to the extent. There's so much more that we couldn't even comprehend. But it always works out so magnificently when we allow it to. When we stop interfering. When we stop the need to control. The need to understand. Or the need to understand. As long as you understand, that's what matters. It's understanding that you're at the right place at the right time. Despite what it looks like. Because if you're going off of these eyes, you're going to be deceived all the fucking time. All the time. All the time. But that's why we don't trust those eyes. We trust our internal compass. We trust our first eye. We trust in our motherfucking selves. That's who we trust on. Our higher selves, the Most High, our spirit team. Trust. We trust in ourselves. And then we celebrate. A lot of times, when we take that through the isolation and everything, there's not that many people around us to celebrate with us. But it's okay. Just know that the celebrations are always happening around you, regardless if you see it or not. They're always happening. They're always celebrating you. They're always celebrating the wins. But it's all the wins. It's the thoughts that you don't give into, the cravings you don't give into, you don't give the choices you make not to give into the wants of the flesh. Small decision here, right? But it's the overall big scheme of things. Hey, that's my nephew, that's my ancestor. Hey, they're doing great. Proud of you. The little things that we do hold a lot more impact than we know sometimes. Most of the time. The positive as well as the... That's why we try to always act, Well, we always act authentically, but we always, out of a proper place with true intentions.
Gather up your wits, we battle with casted shadows. A chapel perilous that pulled the rabbits out of black holes. Maverick with the Bic, master shuffling at the expo. Grab my oven mitt, season up the dish and presto. Light blue, able blood, red king. Raindrops survived the flames, times have changed. He held his head in shame and fled the scene after. Dripping from the yellow brain and emerald green pastures. It's knives at dusk or pistols at dawn. I hear the propaganda sing the same dissonant song. The theme music for the kamikaze mission we're on. To strip the planet of its riches till the getting is gone. Bread alone won't suffice, burning candlesticks at both ends. Hold the mic since I was shoulder height to Gary Coleman. The goal's been the same since to scope the whole terrain. Taking notes on everything observed to ease the growing pains. On city blocks at night you hear the sound of ghostly chains. On Desolation Road they're roasting over open flames. On everything that's holding...
Desolation Open Road. No, but the breaking the chains, the open road. You know, it's a long dirt road. You know, just equally a long chains that we're dragging. It's slowing us down. It's weighing us down, and we have no idea it's even attached to us. We feel the weight, but we'll turn around. There's nothing there. There's no one there. We're feeling it pulling us back sometimes, stopping our movement, stopping our growth. It's coming from somewhere. Where the fuck is it? Where's it coming from? You know, just because you don't physically see the chains with these eyes doesn't mean they're not there. Doesn't mean it's not there. You know, but it's, you know, independence, making it work. You know, but it's also working harder than we have to, because we're not tapping into, well, we don't recognize the chains and bonds. So we work harder than we have to. You know, and we try to do it all alone. We try to do it without the Most High. We try to do it without our whole spirit team. You know, but it's the realization, and it's when we realize that we're doing it alone. We can still make it work even on our own, but we're working against ourselves. We're making it harder than we need to be sometimes. Making it harder than it needs to be sometimes. You know, it's the layers that we shed. It's the skins that we shed. It's the past versions of ourselves that no longer serve us. It's the addictions. It's the habits. It's so much. You know, but one by one. Sometimes in a season we only shed once. Sometimes we shed multiple times. But why limit yourself and think you can only shed one skin in one season? Limits. Shouldn't be doing that either. Shouldn't be doing that either. You know, constantly making progress. You know, constantly acknowledging our progress and celebrating it. But constantly working. Constantly, you know, some days we take baby steps. Other days we fucking quantum jump and leap. Right? But progress is progress. Which progress are we making? Which direction are we heading? Which wolf are we feeding? We're always feeding one of them. Which one are we feeding? That's the one that survives. That's the one that wins. You know, some seasons we shed so many layers. You know, the fast changes. And it's the balance and the ways that we, you know, it's difficult sometimes when we're shedding so quick to rebalance and realign. Sometimes we don't even have time to really fully rebalance and realign in certain, when we're shedding so many layers, we're changing up so much, it's so drastically. You don't have a time to, it's like you keep setting a firm foundation, right? But based upon the Most High, good. But then every time we set it up, then we're busting through quicker, right? And so in one sense, you're kind of pushing back your blessings, but no, they're getting better. They're getting bigger. It seems like things are crumbling, but you're constantly expanding. You go from this tiny little foundation to it keeps getting expanding, bigger and bigger and bigger. And we're just hopping different timelines until we finally kind of like settle to a point where now they all come in, but it still takes time. The greater it is, the longer it takes. But the fast changes, it's the shedding of skins and trying on new skins. But what I'm getting out of that is like different versions of ourselves, different skills and abilities that we have. It could have been that we learned in other lifetimes. It could be ones going on right now in other timelines that we can tap into, right? But it's sometimes we try them on and we think, oh, I'm not going to look good in that. It's not going to fit. It's, you know what I mean? Whatever it is, whatever lie we tell ourselves. But it's coming into our existence for a reason. Sometimes it's just to show us what we don't prefer. Other times it's like, oh shit, I actually do kind of like this. Oh, it does fit. Oh, I do look good in this. You know what I mean? Sometimes we test it out and it's like, oh, but we never know if we don't try. But sometimes it's going to feel like you're trying on so many different things, and then you find things you like. It's like, yeah, all right, and you think you're staying in that timeline. Then no, the Most High has a different plan. It's like you're doing too well. Like you're going too fast. But it's like it's not a bad thing, but it's a bad thing when you perceive it as you think it's a hindrance because I haven't seen my blessings yet, right? Because you're expecting, you're doing in the work, but why haven't they come yet? Well, you're hopping around. It's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. But it's the timing. It's the understanding of, energetically we have to be ahead of where we are. Energetically we are where we're going. Everything we think about, it has an influence on where we're going, on the changes that are going to happen to us. And so we don't sit there and we don't dwell on the negative, right? We don't dwell on that. We observe those thoughts and, we look into them, but we don't sit there and dwell on those. We keep it moving. Keep it moving. Keep it moving. Eventually, you're going to find the perfect match. Which is so many different things, you know what I mean? The right place, the right time. The right ingredients, just perfect, divine plan. You know what I'm getting with that? It's like, you got so many different puzzles going on, right? So you got to separate all the pieces from the different puzzles. And then you're slowly putting them all back. You're slowly putting them together. You're working on this puzzle over here. You're working on this puzzle over here. You're working on this puzzle over here, right? And then all of a sudden, then just like, you're getting close to all of them. Then all the pieces just all at once. Complete. From the outside appearance, it's going to seem like it happened all at once because they don't see all the puzzles that you're working on. They don't see all the time that you spent separating them, color coding them, separating the edges, you put the time in to the detail, into so many different ones. Then they all comes together all at once. And it's people, that's going to bring a lot of jealousy too, because people aren't going to see all the hard work put in. They're not going to see the progress. They're not going to see all the times where you were struggling and you just made it fucking work. Despite how it looked, despite how the fuck am I supposed to do what with what? And you see what I'm working with? Yeah, make it happen. Get it done. Make it look good. And it better work right too. But sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But we never stop trying. We never stop trying to make it work. Working with what we have. And being grateful for it, but not stopping to want more. More to help us. But at that point of alignment, helping yourself is helping everyone else too. But you still have to, learn each lesson or each step. we don't skip steps. We don't skip them because then we miss important details. Then we fail the tests. And then we have to relearn them, retake them. And those aren't fun. We get annoyed with those. We get frustrated with those. We get frustrated. Tapping into our own magic. It's magical. Man, the signs and synchronicities that you can get, though, it's like, is this real life? And then you can't even really, who are you going to tell it to? It's like people aren't going to understand, much less understand it. There's some things you just have to appreciate yourself. Some things you're only meant to appreciate yourself. But it doesn't mean you can't celebrate with your spirit team. You're not alone. You're never alone. Never alone. Never alone. It's funny, I pulled all 3 decks out intending to use all 3 for one message. But as I pull each one out, a message comes. You know, our idea of the plan. I didn't know. I was being led to each one of those 3. So I pulled each 3 of them out. But then as I was going in, it just unfolds. The Most High's plan. It's not us to understand. It's just for us to understand. I'm doing exactly what I need to. I'm creating a mind storm in the Matrix. Fucking the Matrix up with every word I speak. Every word I speak. I want to crash the motherfucking Matrix. With your help, we can. I'm doing my part. I woke up. I want you guys to wake up too. You know, but it's different levels too. The first is realizing our eyes are shut completely. We've been walking blind the whole time. Eyes shut. The messages they just come. Signs and synchronicities. I'm at the right place at the right time. I'm doing exactly what I need to. Everything's unfolding exactly as it needs to. There was plenty of times when I spoke those words when it didn't fucking feel like it. But, you know, you gotta get a lie to yourself sometimes. Well, no, it's the truth. It's the truth. But we lie to ourselves telling ourselves it's not. Like, how can this serve me? How can this be where I'm supposed to be? But it's all part of the process. It's all part of the process. And the process isn't all fun. That's why it's a process. But, you know, the blessings will be a process too. You know, they can't all come in at once. One bad decision could cost you your life. You know, it's funny. One poor decision could set you back so much. You know, relapsing on drugs, that almost killed me. I wouldn't be playing this game anymore. One poor decision. You know, years and years of hard work can go away just like that. You know, but being aware of the choices that we make, being aware of the decisions that we make, the actions we take. Just because you have the thoughts doesn't mean you have to act upon them. You know, but unfortunately we find ourselves acting upon a lot of the wrong thoughts. But some of it is just the way that we perceive it too. We just look at it wrong. And so we naturally just have an altered perspective. But hey, thank you, Daniel. Was that the message? Was that it? Already? That's too many. Anything else, Spirit? Solitary witness, quiet depths, inner universe. You know, it's the way that our souls, you know, whispering to us to go deeper, deeper into ourselves, deeper inward, into the universe inside of us. You know, universe, you and I co-create the verses. But what are we creating? How deep are we going? You know, you only meet people as deep as you're willing to go. Vast potential. Vast potential, hidden depths. It's the intuitive guidance, it's the intuitive hits that we get to dive deeper inward. To dive deeper inward. Cheeky challenge. The mission is yours if you choose to accept it. It is! The mission is all of ours if we choose to accept it. The Most High will meet us everywhere we're at. How deep do we want to delve into ourselves? We want to just live surface level on this existence? We can do that. That's why we don't force things upon people. Some people just want to live surface level. Other people want to dive deeper, you know. And you can't meet those people if you hinder yourself, if you dim yourself, if you limit yourself by not being yourself. You know, that's why we are ourselves. And in turn, by being ourselves, we're going to, at some point, come across people that align more with us. With our, you know, with our inner beliefs, inner knowings. It's the consciousness, though. It's the consciousness that we're connected through. You know, the solitary witness. You know, we're the only witness of, well, we're the only witness in this realm that has truly seen everything we've gone through, everything we've been through. What actually, you know, it's funny how people will perceive what affects you by what affected them. And to what extent. They know what hurt them and to what level. And just because you went through the same thing, it could be a positive, it could be a negative, but it's all labels, 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 labels. It's all labeling. You know, only we truly know everything we've been through that makes us who we are. Just the same as there's the next person and the next person. You know, but look at floating around. It's, you know, it's the whole spirit team. It's the Most High. It's, you know, appearance. You're never truly alone. Helicopters flying around. You know, synchronicities. It's, you know, it's... You know, but it's sometimes when we've had, you know, a long day of lifing. You know, we come in, and we're going to plop right down on the couch, right? But then it's, you know, it's the Most High, just throwing a pillow under our arm, cushioning us down. Take a break. You earned it. You're doing a good job. The cheeky challenge. It's a Mario. But it's lightheartedness. It's not forgetting to have fun and find reasons to smile. Enjoy life. Just have fun. Play around. Why so serious? Don't take life so serious. Yeah, but it's a fine balance. Just like everything, it's a fine balance. It's trying to find the balance is the hard part. Trying to find the balance. It's, you know, it's constant adjusting, constant tweaking, constantly finding what works, what doesn't work. And having fun while doing it. Like, I failed epically on that one. I wonder if it's like a game to us. Like, how deep can we go into this lifetime? How much can we fuck it up and come back? I wonder. I mean, it's, I don't know. It's an interesting thought, though. Because the deeper we go down sometimes, the farther it is we have to come back up. The harder it is, the more we have to fight. But maybe we're meant to do that for an example, to show others. Or maybe we just chose to do it with the decisions that we made, and the Most High decides to use us as an example of the possibilities. I don't know. I just know it's not all fun. Oh, puzzle time. Surprised this didn't come up when I was talking about the puzzles earlier. That would have been too perfect, right? Oh. Yeah. Inner thicket, inner boundaries, altered skies. Why does he look so creepily happy? It looks like a serial killer. And of course, the clowns in the background too, yeah. Hidden complexity. Hidden complexity. But what a difference in these cards. The inner boundary. It's like creepy as fuck, and then it's like elegant. The altered skies. The altered realities. Altered realities. Interesting. Inner duality, the grinning mask. They're both like mechanical. Complex. All the gauges, all the... Both their eyes are wide open. You know, but the inner duality, it's, you know, observing both. The light in you as well as the dark. We all have both. Just like we all have masculine and feminine. What I'm getting is inner boundaries. You know, but the inner boundaries, the inner thicket, it's the boundaries that we set for ourselves, right? That what's an invasive plant? I don't know, like bamboo or something that grows really fast. It's the boundaries that we self-limiting beliefs. It's the boundaries we set for ourselves that, you know, just grow and expand and get bigger. You know, and next thing you know, it's You get less room and less room and less room to grow because this overgrown. You know, but it's also the conception of that's where the road ends, is that's where the boundaries are. There's way more past it. But it's like the longer we prolong it, the harder it is to get over, because the more it is, the more it's expanded. You know, but it's with the inward, what I'm getting with that is, you know, going in to quantum jump over. But it's the shift of reality. It's the becoming a place energetically where, in theory, it just disappears. Because you no longer resonate at it. You're so far away, it can't be anywhere near you. But it's the altered sky. It's the limiting beliefs. It's the... Well, it's a limited belief that our minds aren't that powerful. You know, what also getting with that is a magician's hat. You know, the altered reality, but it's like, oh, you thought that's the bottom of the hat. But wait, there's more. It goes deeper. I can fit all the way into it. And watch what I can pull out of it. But it's diving deep into ourselves. And you never know what's going to come out. You never know what's going to come out of it. Sometimes it's a past version of yourself you forgot about. It was like, oh, shit. Cut that motherfucker right off. But it's bringing it to the surface. But it doesn't end there. I'm not defined by my past. But wait, there's more. Oh, there's other version of me I didn't prefer. But there's more than just that. And I'm not defined by any of those. You know, but floating away. It comes to the surface, and when it comes to the surface, we pull it all the way out. And then, you know, we release it to the Most High, and it floats away. What happens up there, I don't know. It's not in my hands anymore. That's all that fucking matters. I'm not weighed down by it anymore. Not weighed down. You know, but it's the things that it's the ways that we learn to self-perseverance. It's the ways that we learn to preserve ourselves, to preserve our kindness, our whatever. Sometimes, you know, when people don't respect it properly, and sometimes we allow people to walk over us because we're too kind. And so then we have to limit, really restrict and be aware of who we even allow in. Because some people, we love hard. And so if I'm going to, I can't just open the door slightly. You know, if the door's open, the door's open. But also at the same time, when that door's closed, that door's closed. But it's the ways that we shut down to preserve ourselves from getting hurt anymore. You know, energy protection. You know what I'm being reminded of is, you know, someone that was telling me about, well, how they, you know, they don't watch any TV or listen to anything secular. Nothing at all. Well, what label do you put on that? You're not opening yourself up to any of the negative. Well, that's good, right? But you're not opening yourself up to any of the positive as well. Well, what's that? You know, for one to exist, the other has to. To understand one, to truly understand one, you must understand the other. To some extent. You know, defiance. You know what's funny is, you know, first off, people praise Yeshua, put him on a pedestal, which he told you people never to do. Not to put him on that pedestal. But he was defiant as a motherfucker. He was a spiritual gangster. You know, throat chakra fully activated. Spoke truth, nothing but the truth. For those that had the eyes to see and ears to hear. Challenged all the norms, all the societal beliefs, all the religious beliefs. You know, we've distorted his teachings. We've distorted it to keep chains on us, and we've distorted it to just to not allow us to do what he was teaching us to do. Which was exactly what he did. You know, where did he learn? The mystery schools. You know, it's funny in the society we live in. You know, look at, you look at Yeshua, you know, well, look at the things that he did. He defied the police, right? You know, can't pray, can't do this. Fuck the police, I'm gonna go pray. You know, it's, you know, they try to enslave people through food, and, you know, he creates food, you know, through starvation. Yeah, it's just so many different things, but it's trying to, you know, teach people how to do it themselves. But that's the threat. Is because if you teach them how to do it themselves, what do you need big government for? You know what's funny about big government? It's, you know, of course a big government needs a big budget, but it was never intended to be that way. And it's amazing how much less taxpayers' money you need when there's not that much government to support. But then we keep creating new positions to create new positions that create more money. For what? So we got to create these new positions, but all that extra money, and it never goes where it's intended to. And it's all, the amount of money that we get taxed on, fuck. What do we walk away with? 30 cents out of our dollar? Like, the fuck? It's a laughing joke to every other country. We're a Christian nation, right? Christian nations that used to stand against usury. Now we open it, we welcome it with open arms. You know, Yeshua was standing up to people like Benjamin. Defiance. Defiance. Anti-Semitism. You know, there's cults, there's secret, you know, societies in every religion. There's rogue people in every religion. Every single one. No one religion holds all the truths. The only thing they all hold in common is bonds and chains. You know, but it's on one hand, it's not fair to label everyone by the actions of, you know, small groups. But it's those small groups that their reach and their power extends way farther than most could even fathom. But any group that calls themselves, you know, God's chosen people, yet behind the scenes they support grape, you know, they support, you know, robbing nations of anything in them because they're not God's people. Any one that supports those type of things, that support murder, red rum, that supports those types of things and thinks that the Most High wills it, they don't serve the true God. They serve themselves. You know, look at these, you know, mega church pastors getting, you know, using church money to buy helicopters and this and that, right? Robbing people blind because God wills it, right? You know, people want to use a book to justify their actions and think that they're not going to be held accountable. Ha! You know, defiance. How the fuck do we live in a world where it's considered defiance to stand up for what's fucking right? If that's defiance, then I don't want to ever be fucking right. Yeah, but it's people have no idea what they believe in. They have no idea what they stand for, because they don't stand for shit. It's all spoon-fed. Spoon-fed ideology, spoon-fed beliefs, spoon-fed emotional manipulation, spoon-fed. Yeah, but it's defiant to want to feed yourself. It's defiant to want to, you know, help yourself and help others. It's defiant to wish, you know, a Christian nation, right? But it's defiant to want best for your neighbors. It's defiant to give away free food. It's defiant. It's defiant. You know, it's defiant to water your garden because of water shortages that don't truly exist. It's defiant. It's defiant to create, you know, machines that generate free energy, because then, you know, the electrical companies can't, you know, bank off of it. It's defiant. You know, it's challenging the norms. Challenging the norms. You know, it's, you know, I was being reminded of, you know, I just saw the clip that came up that I posted about, just call me president now, right? And I was thinking, like, well, what president would I be? There's not many that I align with, because they all just go with the norms. They didn't go against it. They were just puppets, in my opinion. Just puppets, another puppets. And so there's not many of them that I would want to be. Like, who would I be? What, Bill Clinton? Oh, hey, what's up, Monica? You know what I mean? Who would I be? You know what I'd be? JFK. Trump. You know, it would have been, I would have been so proud to be able to say Ron Paul. You know, if I lived in Texas, I would be so fucking proud to say that man represented me for as long as he did. Ron Paul. That man stayed true. Stayed course. Didn't alter. Was not able to be bribed. You know, the stuff that man was talking about decades ago when I got this. I'm seeing it happen today, that Trump is doing. Things that people should be celebrating. And they're out here protesting. For once, I'm actually proud. You know, I'm proud of my president. For once, I'm actually proud of the direction that my country's heading. You know, for once, I'm actually proud that we can celebrate our independence and actually celebrate a year where we gain more and more of our rights and freedoms instead of giving them up. Every year we celebrate our Independence Day that was fought over what? Over 2% tax? How much are we being taxed now? And we welcome it in and celebrate it. Yay, more taxes! More slavery, yes! Ooh, terrorist bad. Orange man bad. Ooh, 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 ooh. It's educate yourself. Come on. Why did all those companies go overseas? Because they were avoiding it. Avoiding the taxes that we have to eat. Fuck that shit. Come on. Wake the fuck up. Oh my God, Bernie. Oh man. That dude. That imbecile. Well, that imbecile. They always throw those imbeciles out there. And oh man, the people that keep voting for him, my God. My grandfather lived in Vermont. My grandfather lived there. And he used to always joke about how the air is cleaner, how the air is fresher in Vermont. Well, even with all the fresh air, there's not enough oxygen, there's not enough consciousness to fix that man's fucking mind. That man is lost. That man's lost. He thinks he's a shepherd. You're a Judas sheep, leading people to slaughter. That's what he fucking is. What an interesting time to be alive. What a great time to be here, huh? How you guys doing? What's up, Camille? Walk with Yeshua. I'm excellent.
You walk the hallways lined with cages where the hopeless dwell, through shadowed alleys hissing with a whisper.
I'm not sure what I want to do yet. Oh, hold on. I need to go see if I got an order in yet.
One by one, the angels fell.
God had sent a horrible plague of deaths.
Why do you think that God would do a thing like that?
Yabba Tango presents The New World of Sound.
Back chasing dreams, here we go again. Run them down with bloodhounds and Dobermans. I'm at the mercy of the blowing wind. It's all open-ended like everything in life till your soul ascends. From Mad Mardigan to Sad Harlequin to Black Hardican, flashbacks, Bardichins, cardinal sins, hypodermics in the garbage bin. Markmen following the saints go marching in. Dreams crack then fade into memory. My pop said that we share the same brain chemistry. That's where I got my appetite for self-destruction. I need balance, I need help adjusting. But one day I'll awake in a state of grace. Quit making the same mistake of abating the pains and aches. Maintain a creative space, get loose with the paper made. I've been waiting for day to break, the future is taking shape.
Remember that language is power.
I will, I'll remember that.
Lonely Steppenwolf offer no apologies until their brains snap open.
God said,
We'd be in trouble if we ate that fruit. Aimless.
soldier trying to get over.
No peace.
Show teeth, hold a grudge, find another soul to judge. No peace, only blood.
Aimless soldier.
Exile, driven out, sinner drifting on the cloud. Wild child in the crowd.
No peace.
Oh yeah, it's actually wicked comfortable.
Don't sleep, show me love.
It's
I chase dragons, now I'm chasing a dream. They're both mythic.
it's a huge fucking upgrade from the deck chairs that I had to use. But I could have bought it sooner, but I didn't have the space. So I'm thoroughly enjoying this. I'm not gonna lie.
Me, I know the beast well. He's hiding in the flowers and the details. Enjoys long walks on the beach and collecting seashells. Reporting live from the belly of the beach whale. East of Eden, where the fallen angels and the meek dwell. Where love's the color of blood and pure devotion. It cascades, pools on the ground, and forms an ocean. Deck of the bard, the pen man, deadpan, solitary dreamer.
Hey, what's up, fangirl?
Expand. There's no time for dogma and genuflection. The future is taking shape. Lessons in free expression.
Remember that language is power.
I will, I'll remember that.
Where did we come from? Who are we? And where are we going? Eternal questions never answered.
God said,
We'd be in trouble if we ate that fruit. Aimless.
soldier trying to get over.
No peace.
Show teeth, hold a grudge, find another soul to judge. No peace, only blood.
Aimless soldier.
Exile, driven out.
Life
sinner
is
drifting
great.
on the cloud, wild child in the crowd.
No peace.
No peace, only blood. Don't sleep, show me love.
Only love.
How your days going? You know what's cool? My son actually put me onto this artist. My son put me onto him. It's Decca. You know, but he got his good sense of taste from me, clearly. No, but it's but we influence our kids. You know, it's regardless if we recognize we do or not. It's the music that we listen to that influences them. But clearly, I have amazing taste, and so my son has amazing taste. But now he's putting me. It's the full circle of things. It's now he's putting me onto stuff. And you know what's funny is I remember so often I would always try to get him to try new foods, right? I wouldn't accept I don't like that when I know he hasn't tried it yet. So I made him. But then there's so much that he used to not prefer that it's kind of like, could you just go back to not preferring those? I liked it when I had more of this for myself. It's like, I don't mind sharing it with you, but I liked it when I just offered it and you didn't want it. And I was like, sweet. You know, now I can enjoy all of it. No, but it's just funny how... Well, a lot of times we limit ourselves. We limit ourselves for we'll never know. We could love something, but we never try it. We never, not even just one little piece, not even one bite. We don't even try it. We don't dip our toes in it at all. Little do we know, it could be our next favorite, snack. Life can't go on without it, right? How was their life before this? But we never know. We never know.
Dark and play inside the shaman. The words wrote themselves. I sat still and listened to the source that expands and contracts in my field of vision. Soul search where the wildflowers grow, crows perch and ghosts lurk below the cold earth. I know my own worth. When day breaks, we'll watch the world come alive. Odd things in God's dreams, lost in the patterns on the mind's wings. My love resides on the other side. She pulls shadows out my chest and help me to shake the sleep from my eyes. At sunrise, we could finally see the light clear. Slept on the bed of nails, woke up from a nightmare.
You know what I'm being reminded of? Just like signs and synchronicities, right? So, back, I don't know, a couple years ago when I had my house, right? I remember I was going to leave, I was getting up early and I would do my meditations and studying in the morning, right, in the rising. And one day, what came to me? So at that time, I was getting a lot of affirmations, which were all new to me. I had never looked into affirmations and this and that, but I was getting so many of them, and I was getting ones for all different things. But I was taking the time and I was writing it all out, because I read something stating, the importance of, how powerful it was when, when you see things, how powerful it is when you recite things, but also how powerful it is when you write it down and write it out. And so I was transcribing everything by hand, and then I would take a picture of it and then post the picture online. But it was one day I know that happened, and I think I was on my way to the gym. I don't know where I was headed, but I know I was headed on the way out the door. And my son was just getting up because he was staying up late playing video games, whatever, right? But he was telling me how he felt like something was sitting on his chest in bed, how something was like weighing him down, how he felt like something was on him. And the synchronicity of whatever I just finished transcribing had to do with clearing your space and words to kind of release things, right? I don't remember exactly in detail. This just came to my mind. I haven't thought about it since then. But it's just I was led to do it. I was doing something that benefited me and was helping me as part of integrating it into my consciousness, right? But then I had it as a tool. And then through the conversation with my son, and then I just happened to have the tool that I needed for this. And I don't remember what it was, but I know that he told me that I gave it to him, said, hey, read this out loud a couple times, left it to him, because, I can't do it for you. You have to do that yourself. There's nothing more I could do. And I was already on my way out the door. So I took the time, gave it to him, and then I got to go. But when I came back, he said that he felt like a weight was lifted off of him. And it's, we never know the importance of the things that we do, of what we're being led to do. I just took action upon what came into my existence. I took action upon it, and what the process, the procedure, how I have been feeling led to do everything. It's just transcribe it, write it out, take the time. And that requires listening to it over and over and over, and pausing it and replaying it to get it all right? But it's in that process. It's in the repetitive that it's just playing over. It's the reprogramming. It's the reprogramming of your mind, which is what was happening. But in the process, everything, I was exactly where I needed to be, doing exactly what I needed to do, and in turn, had the information and the knowledge to hand over to my son exactly when he needed it. You know, it's those signs and synchronicities that when you start getting those and seeing those, it's tell me I don't know what I fucking know. You know what I mean? But we're not always meant to understand. We don't always see it. And especially that quick and happening just like that. We don't always. But it's the understanding of the knowledge of I'm doing what I need to do. You know, we don't always see. We don't. But we're not meant to. We're just meant to follow through. And then keep it moving. You know, you would plant the seeds. You know, I have all the information, all the knowledge. All I can do is give it to you. What you do with it is what you do with it. I have no say over that. I can't control where you're at energetically. I can't control where your intentions are. I can't make you want it. You have to want it. But here it is. Here it is. Here's what I've learned. Here's what I'm being led to share with you. Do with it as you will. My job's done. I'm out. You know what I mean? But that's what it is. We don't get stuck on the I need to know. I need to see it. It's no. We just keep it moving. Where that's the flow. That's when you're just flowing. But when you're in that state of flowing, man, the signs and synchronicities are everywhere. And at first, I remember I started like telling one of my friends, like pointing it out to her, right? And then it got to the point where it's like I'm like I gotta shut up. I gotta stop talking because just everything. It was you know. I could have annoyed the fuck out of her by trying to keep her up to date with all the signs and synchronicities because it's everywhere, especially when you're just flowing, when you're in that flow state. We're in that flow state. But yeah, random story.
I paid my dues, I locked out the serpent's head. The checks in the mail, like old Jack Burton said. Fill with dog, you maintain, play the game.
You know what's hard though? You know what's hard is, you know, people will know the right thing to do, but they'll treat their children differently. You know, I'm very thankful for my parents, but my parents enabled me a lot when I was a drug addict. They enabled me a lot. You know, so I fully, you know, I understand every aspect of enabling. I understand both sides of enabling. You know, we think we're doing a good thing. But that's how it all starts. It starts with good intentions, but then it's, you know, you can only do so much without anyone taking the time to do it themselves. And it's just a sad reality of what it is.
Cold dead logic over vision. Fill with dog, you maintain, play the game, state your aim, embrace change, create a lane, stake your claim, disconnect from the mainframe, bite the hand that feeds falsehood and break chains, wrestle with your soul, separate from the whole. The more you try to mask it, the less you rip the poison to relieve the pressure in my skull. I saw a man walk the streets with them bleeding. Every drop spilled fed the earth and gave it meaning. Eden blossomed in the barren landscape. The priest class sealed it off with mandates and secret handshakes. Now we brave a new world, a wilderness of mirrors, of lies and half-truths that instill a sense of fear. A telescreen wasteland, overwrought with lies, soda pop, social activists that pose for the photo op. Look at all the zombie youth, father praise, starving for attention. I can see their ribs from a mile away. High praise from the tastemakers, ape each other's styles, ride every wave and pander to your base nature. I fight a war inside, box with the Lord of Flies, live what you glorify, saw through distorted eyes, reported live from a fortified prison where you're taught to trust cold dead logic over vision. Fill with dog, you maintain, play the game, state your aim, embrace change, create a lane, Stake your claim, disconnect from the mainframe. Bite the hand that feeds falsehood and break chains.
What's up, Rebecca?
Soul separate from the whole. The more you try to mask it, the less
What's
you
up,
can
Mama?
control. I've lived half my life by the pleasure principle. And shot the poison to relieve the pressure in my skull.
Bullets are heralding great warnings. Hipping many cats to where it's at. To where it's at.
Out there in darkness, stuck in the middle passage of time, watch them reap the stuff from the rotten seeds they've sown.
This can turn any metal into gold.
Well,
I have already found the secret of this powerful force.
I would like to show you how this principle works on a human being.
Then you take him down to the source.
Sure, it's spooky flash.
Monkey paw, shrunken heads, esoteric Boy Scouts in aprons in the red fez, keepers of an Eden snake's knowledge of Pharaoh's secrets, that trace the lineage, the high priests in Egypt, the Babel Tower builders, knowers and initiates, solving quantum Rubik's cubes, decoding arithmetic. Something about the general vibe made my knee jerk. The alchemist pursuits led to gain of function research. Kill your morbid fascination with the strange and the sickly trees that sprang from the offspring of Cain. You'll know them by their fruits or lack thereof. Identify the weeds, gain the ground, and pull them by the roots like hair plugs. Bald-faced lies, power-driven golems in the cave, hoarding pseudo-knowledge of the cosmic algorithm. With statecraft ties and all-seeing eagle eyes, be advised, careful who and what you deify. I heard your allegory shrouded the eternal, but peeled the layers back and found a nihilistic kernel. Ego-based mystery for mystery's sake. Counter to the highest tide, pulling fish from this lake. Take it slow, hold my head below the H2O, where lotuses and lilies grow in golden ratios. Far from the futurist, transhuman new religion, and charlatans passing off their hubris as wisdom. We below, seeking gold, deep below, thumbing through the secret scrolls, watching crows and salamanders decompose. The sweetness of a rose should be your only goal. Joyful tears that flood the dry earth to feed your lonely soul. Pay no mind to curiosities and sphinx riddles, grimoires, coded language, and magic sigils, and leave the hive-minded to their solemos in secrecy, beneath the tree of polar opposites and lower frequencies. I believe in miracles, but not magic bullets, and approach my soapbox pulpit with monastic focus. A tiny fraction of this whole galactic magnum opus, watching globalists scour the planet like a plague of locusts. Cause death from above across the globe. Philosophic pyrite, they turn to lead for death squads to lock and low. Hard to transmute the rage pressure breeds when they murder all our prophets and fill their pockets with gold.
You know, killing all the prophets and filling their pockets with gold. You know, it's the irony of, well, the truth speakers, right? It's the silencing of the truth speakers. But then it's the stealing of the wealth. You know, the generational wealth, the spiritual abundances, inheritances. It's stealing them. How's it stolen? You know, they trapped us in our minds because they can't stop our fighting spirits from coming back. They can't. So they trap you in your minds. You get you worried about the worries, you know, the bills, you know, but it's unnecessary bills that we shouldn't have to worry about. It's things that we shouldn't have to worry about. Things that should be free, our God-given rights. But we took God-given things and we put a stamp on it and said man-made. And said, here, we're going to charge you for it. Wrong move. Then there's the towers of lies that have been built upon that. The fortifications have been built upon it. But guess what? Jericho's walls came crumbling down, right? Tower of Babel. It's not still standing, is it? You know, but it's they tried to get us to choose two evils. You have to choose between these two evils. How about neither one? I don't prefer either one. Neither one aligns with me. What about that third option? Oh, I always have another option. We always have another option. We can choose to stand up for what's right, despite society wanting to put the pressure on us just to conform. Putting that pressure on us from every angle. But we hold firm, we hold tight, we maintain course to our path. The light at the end of the tunnel. It's not a smooth path. It's rocky. But it's there. We're not going to fall. But it's only when we lose faith. It's only when we lose faith does it all collapse. And then we lose sight that the path was even there. The times that we live in now. We lost sight that the path is even there. The path has always been there. It's always been here. The problem is we're looking out here for it.
Waiting for the rain to pass when it came to me with the flash of a brain synapse. You don't have to break your back for table scraps or take the task. Every snake you pass on the sacred path. We're just babies. Dig the planets, the architecture, the firmament projected on the stretched canvas. The phantoms in your head vanish, disappear, and for a split second you could see it all crystal clear. I'm a hungry ghost, you're a hungry ghost too. A slave to an impulse that controls you. Raised by thieves, outlaws, and roads through the Kali Yuga age where a solitary rose grew. It's all symptomatic. Climb up the staircase.
You know what's interesting about that?
Translate the writing on the walls.
Translating the writing on the walls. No such thing as signs of synchronicities. Translating the writings on the walls. And it was that comment that made me want to pause that. But AI wants to be the creators, right? But cursive. Why'd they get rid of cursive? This is all speculation. There's absolutely no truth to be found here at all, Mr. AI bots. There's no truth to be found here at all. It's all speculation. But what if? The bots can't read cursive. They can't. But they don't want us to remember cursive either, because if we remember cursive, then we can go back and we can read things written in cursive. But then also, there's also the belief that the AI bots can't, the censorship, Nazis, they can't read cursive. And so that's a way to get past them. I want to test that theory. I like pushing limits. I like being defiant for the right ways, the right reasons. It's funny, the things I'm defiant for, you should all be. You should all be. But yeah, cursive, there's so much power in writing in general. But then cursive, it's if we can't write it, we can't read it. But they try to confuse us from early on as kids, as Common Core math and all that bullshit. It's like you're overcomplicating and confusion, which is its intended purpose. But you all have to do it because, it's the curriculum, right? Who funds that? Who pays for that? Those are the questions we should be asking. And then it makes a lot more sense. The same people, funding the school systems, the same people funding the jail systems, the prison systems, privatized prisons. Oh yeah, what could possibly go wrong? We gave people an incentive for locking people up. What could possibly go wrong there? You only get these grants from the government if you have so many people locked up. First off, what the fuck is wrong with that mentality? You're already setting a precedence if we're going to have this many people locked up. Like, what the fuck? We're going to go... And then when you don't have it, what do you have? You have police officers, policy officers out there with forced quotas. You have to do this. You have to do that. Then we get people in these privatized prison systems for doing more jail time for driving offenses. And then you can go grape someone and be out, do no time, a slap on the fucking wrist. You're a bad boy. Don't do it again. But heavens forbid you get a driving offense. Oh no, lock them away, throw away the key. Victimless crimes. What's interesting about that too, if you're aware, of the people going around to all the courts. They're going around state to state because they have to inform them. And pretty much is what they're doing is we're taking the power back from maritime and we're bringing it back to natural law, common law. That's what we're going back to. And so they have to do it. They have to play by the rules, right? But the rule, it's going to rule in our favor because that's how it was written, right? But it's only through laws we legalize this fuckery that we're in. But Trump's aware of it and the moves that he's making on the chessboard. But there's people going around to every court, district courts, and they're telling them, they're informing them. Because you have to inform them of their actions and how pretty much they're paying, the cities, and the cities are paying the police, and the police are policy upholders. Not law. They don't even know constitutions, most of them. Don't know all the constitutions. What they swore oath to. How do you not know what you swore oath to? How do you not know what your only job is supposed to uphold it? Oh, but peace, and you've removed the peace part of it. Policy officers. Who do they serve? But they're going around to all the courts and pretty much, they're informing them that they're incarcerating people illegally. They're charging people illegally. They're taking away people's rights and freedoms. They're infringing upon them. Informing them. And then after they're formally served, their actions upon that they can be held accountable for. That's how we shut down all these corrupt fucking judges and court systems. But it's the maritime court systems that have to collapse. It's the maritime law that we've been living under that has to collapse, that everyone's unaware of. But we're going back to the natural man. Natural laws. Common laws. Which is excellent for everyone. The only thing it's a threat to are those that try to enslave. So anyone supporting the old systems, who do you really serve? What master do you serve?
I was just lounging, staring at the clock, right? I could feel the world turn, third one and got right. Something came over me, through me, splattered on the loose leaf, profusely. The youth need to follow where the truth leads. I walked the wild side with no read, with demons pitching pills for dirt sheep, saying I got what you need. Low down, dirty, shameful, heavy bankroll, worked every angle, converse with angels. They say these are the end days, a time of retribution. We point to the sky and chart the planet's movements, but can't measure the cause and effect of dots. And I'd rather stargaze the night away and play connecting dots, or watch Asher Rothschild on the Magnavox and all your favorite rappers throwing up the rock. I'm at a loss. It's not a diss, it's more dismissive of big business, not in my interest.
Defiance. Big business is not in my interest. Defiance. Mirroring numbers. 12:21. Reflections. What I'm getting is being a reflection for the Most High. The world, the hanged man. But it's hanging the wants of the flesh. It's giving up the wants of the flesh and opening yourself up to be an instrument for the Most High. But it's not the work that, but it's the work that the Most High does through you for the world. For the healing of the nations. But it's, the sacrifices that you make for the greater good. But it's the reflection. It's the reflection of the divine light in you. It's the reflection that shines through you. What I'm getting with that is, a kingdom ambassador. It's alignment. It's connecting the realms. But as within, so without. You know what I'm getting is the people that are going to mourn the old versions of us. You know, but it's the sacrifices. It's no longer me. That person is no longer me. You know, but it's the full ascension. It's the ascension from that. The sacrificing of the old versions of you to the greater versions of you, a greater purpose, your divine purpose. You know, but it's a reflection. May all of our actions be a reflection of the Most High. May everything we say, may everything we do be a reflection of the Most High. It's a hand extended. It's the divine's hand that's extended to each and every single one of us. The divine's hand that's reaching out to every single one of us. But Samson, it's, you know, losing his hair. It's his strength. You know, it's the hair. It's the growth. You know, it's, but the hair, it traps the memories, it traps the energy, it traps the knowledge, the experience, like the rings of a tree, what it's been through. You know, but it's the things that we've survived through that gives us our strength. You know, but it's not just us, it's a reflection of the strength of the Most High. Because without the Most High, I am nothing. Without the Most High, I would have failed. Without the Most High, I wouldn't have done this. Without the Most High, I wouldn't have survived. Without the Most High, I wouldn't have found the courage. Without the Most High, we're nothing. Without the Most High, we're lost. Lost. Lost but not forgotten. You know, the warmth of the sun. You know, the only thing lost is the remembrance of who we are. The only thing lost is the remembrance of who we're... So much have we forgotten. Some of it's intended, some of it's not. You know, but too often, you know, what do we mourn these days? We mourn things that we shouldn't, because they weren't true losses. It's the only thing is the way that we perceive everything is just off. And when you're looking at it wrong, you're gonna analyze it wrong. You're gonna have the wrong emotions towards it. Labels. Labels. You know, labels. You know, it's the labels we place upon ourselves. The labels of self-worth. Look at the cracked open heart chakra. It's cracked open. Wide open. Breaking out. It's nothing can contain it. You know, it's wearing our heart, not just on our sleeves. It's wearing our heart like it's a chain, like it's beautiful. Something to show off. But what is it? It's the way that we think about ourselves. It's the way that we think about others. It's the way that we speak about others. It's the way that we speak about ourselves. It's the way that we protect others. It's the way that we protect ourselves. It's the way that we stand up for others that can't stand up for themselves. And we stand the fuck up for ourselves. You know, it's the loving example we are to others around us. To the youth. To just others in general. You know, what's interesting about that is youth. In what sense? Youth in spirit, youth in flesh. What type of youth are we talking about? We're all on different levels. We're all at different phases. We're all at different stages. We're all at different places. But we're all here together. You know, we're all here together to rule our own lives. About 14:5, change. We're all here to change for the better for ourselves, but the better for others as well. You know, it's leading by example. It's not waiting for an example, it's being one. You know, but knowing yourself, loving your neighbor. You know, but, you know, everything should be handled the same. You love the fuck out of yourself. You give yourself the tough love when you have to. You love the fuck out of your kids. You give your kids the tough love when you have to. You love the fuck out of your friends. You give them the tough fucking love when they need it. It's the same. It doesn't change because of who it is, because of a title, because of nothing. Right is right, wrong is wrong. Alignment, and not even like that. It's accountability. It's holding everyone. We're all held to the same standards. Universally, we're all held to the same standards. The difference is you know, things, limitations, beliefs, things that we impose upon ourselves, that society imposes upon us, that religions impose upon us. But we're all held to the overall, the main basic parts, the same universal laws, spiritual laws. That's what we're bound by. That's what we have to adhere to. Other than that, free fucking range. You know, it's funny. It's you could walk by. You know, it's what I'm being reminded of is just how people just can't understand how, like, all right, so in certain warehouses, our good morning was, hey, go fuck yourself, but with a smile on my face, and I walk away like, oh, today's gonna be a great day, right? But that's just how it was in those environments. And then, but people from the outside would be like, we had people like call management before, like, I think they're gonna fight or something. It's like, no, they're just like that. Don't mind them. You know what I mean? But it's just. But literally with a big grin on our face. But it's not what you say or it's not what you do or how you do it. It's an energy thing. It's an energy thing. How many people tell you good day and they're wishing ill upon you, but with a smile on their face? What's the difference? We're on the same. Me and that person are on the same page. We're speaking the same language. We're on the same frequency. We're both gonna have an excellent fucking day. But it's bothering you because you're trying to understand what you don't need to understand. You can't possibly understand. You live in you sit in your little office, do your little office job. You work in little high school environments where you gotta watch what you say because I'm gonna hurt someone's feelings with my words. Hey, fuck right off. Have a wonderful fucking day. You know, I don't thrive in the same environment. I don't enjoy the same environment. No. I'll just play nice. I can when I want to, but that's a mask I put on, and I don't enjoy doing that. I don't enjoy doing that. I like being authentic. But really real. It's just raw. It's authentic. It's authenticity to its core. It is what it is. Take it as it is. Take it as it is. You know, but it's trying to, you know, worrying about other people. Worrying about other people. You know, it's just, what, the way other people are talking are offensive to you? Because you don't understand. I have to stop talking the way I talk because you don't understand, because you're walking by. You don't work with me all day. You don't even work in my department. You're just walking by and, ooh, my words are offensive to you. So instead of just closing your motherfucking ears and minding your own fucking business, you want to go and cry and complain and they're words that weren't even directed towards me or they're hurting me. It's fucking Sallies. Whole bunch of fucking Sallies. You know, we need to thick-skinned people back. You know, it's soft fucking skin. Soft skin. Soft morals. Softness all around. Softness all around. You know, but we live in a world where we believe everything the government tells us and we wear the masks even though it's proven that they don't do shit. But hey, we trick our mind and we lie to ourselves and we say, hey, these masks are working. I am so protected. I'm not going to do any of the normal stuff I should be doing. No personal hygiene. Let's forget all that because I'm wearing a mask. I'm safe now. I feel so safe. Oh, man. Oh, man. Man, people are funny. People are real funny. I still see people driving around alone in a car with a mask on, and they're not even proper masks. It's like, oh man, yeah, you live in your bubble. You're restricting yourself. You're hindering yourself. You're living in a state of fear over what? A fabricated false illusion? And at this point, it's a veil you're putting over yourself because the information and knowledge is everywhere, and you're choosing to still live in your bubble. Well, hey, but don't force me to live in a bubble because you live in fear. Fuck your fear. No, I don't. What? I have to live in a bubble because you don't know how to do shit. You can't think for yourself. Like, fuck out of here. You know, but be yourself. You know, label yourself. I don't know. What are people calling themselves now? Airplanes or whatever the fuck they're identifying as. You know, mouse traps. I don't fucking know. But it's identify whatever the fuck you want to. But don't expect me to conform to whatever false reality you live in. I'll try to be respectful to an extent. But might make fun of you after or when I leave. I don't know. But it's like, some people are just fucking silly. They're just silly. I just let silly people be silly. Why stop them? But don't force me. Don't force me to put on the same lenses. I don't like those lenses. That's not truth. It's not reality. I choose not to live there. But hey, free will. If you want to choose to live in that, you know, false reality, you can. But that reality stays with you and only goes with you. You know, we don't force it upon other people. We don't force it. We don't force shit. We don't force shit. What time is it? 2:22. Synchronicity. I'm gonna break my fast. I'm hungry. I'm gonna go do I don't know. I'm gonna start juicing again, but I'm gonna go squeeze some fruits and vegetables. But thanks for tapping in. Thanks for all your likes, your shares, your comments, and your gifts. Thank you for the energy exchange, and until next time.